Hello, this is Thrash Metal, and then that's my production channel at YouTube. Of course, welcome back. And of course, you're definitely in for a treat, because this episode and the next two, we're going to be talking about Metal Church. Yes. This whole week, you're all going to be in for a treat. We're definitely going to be getting to some more, definitely some pretty big names. Not really big, but when it comes to either US power metal or any other, they're definitely the more well-known ones, especially Metal Church right here. Of course, releasing a new album this year. So definitely we have to, and they definitely serve their purpose within the whole US power metal. So let's get into it. Pretty much a Seattle band coming out of the early 80s, with Craig Wells, Kurt Vanderhoof, and of course David Wayne. Even at one point, Lars Ulrich was even a session drummer for Metal Church. Definitely, this band's history definitely spans quite a bit. And of course releasing demos, being featured on I think the 4th or 5th Metal Massacre. I'm close. Now this band just really serves a purpose for this style, and their sound was definitely not really like Metallica, was not like Slayer, Anthrax, or maybe Anthrax, but definitely even definitely not like Megadeth. This band had more almost combining thrash with sort of the sounds of Obsession and Savage Grace and so forth. They really were combining something that would be considered US power metal, but yet it had a very thrashiness, kind of like their sound is pretty much the blueprint for power thrash, and Metal Church are one of the really earliest power thrash bands. And their debut, which was released in 1984, independently, their record label was titled Ground Zero Records. This album has very much a power thrash sound all over it, and it's very early power thrash, with Beyond the Black, the title track. Merciless Onslaught, which is the instrumental on here, is just a ripper of a track. In the Blood, my favorite, Nightmare, Battalions, which is the most power metal song on this album. And the way David Wayne, he's got a range, and here he gives off these. It's very epic, something like that. It's probably one of the most coolest things about this album. And of course, we do have to talk about two songs on here: Gods of Wrath and their cover of Deep Purple's Highway Star. Now, Gods of Wrath, I'm forgetting Hitman. Again, a lot of classics on here. But Gods of Wrath is basically their Beyond the Realms of Death. This has that sort of impact that, Beyond the Realms of Death has. It's in that style, but it's done very classy. It's very original sounding. Every about this is just great, and just shows more of the band's muscle, especially David Wayne and the the team of Kurt Vanderhoof and Craig Wells. Both the twin guitar attack. Just a great track that's emotional in every shape and form. But then let's also even talking about, the cover of Highway Star, which ends the album. Now, I did talk about Savage Grace with, they covered, Burn on their Ride Into the Night EP, and how I said that one was just, good. Here, Metal Church was able to take a classic, track and turn it into something that's at times almost theirs in some places. It's like they make it sound, it's not really them butchering the track or anything. It's them not just paying tribute to one of their favorite bands, but it's definitely kind of them also, it's a very classy way to put it. Everything feels very genuine. It's like David Wayne really does not try to emulate, Ian Gillan, nor the Kurt Van Hoof and Craig Wells are trying to, replicate Ritchie Blackmore. They really are trying to just take their spin on a classic song for both hard rock and heavy metal. And for it even end it would be kind of odd, but for some reason it just works. It ends the album with a bang. Just a great album from start to finish. But let's also even talking about the production. This is also one of the first albums that Terry Date has produced. And it's surprising that this album was originally released very independently, and this is one of the first albums where Terry Date produced. Because normally he would produce a lot of mostly albums for most big labels and such, but here it's definitely starting off from the bottom. Album itself is just great. This is just a solid US power metal album that any fan of thrash metal or even, classic heavy metal should definitely like. This is just a classic. Just a good album, really. I can't really say anything bad about it. There's not really a bad song throughout this whole album. It's just, a classic. That's all that has to be said. So after this, what else is next for the band? Well, the band would then later get signed to Elektra, which of course will end up being the home for Metallica. But one thing, this album was also released through Steamhammer and has a extra track on here titled Big Guns. And it's only on the European vinyl. So if you're definitely looking out to get a copy of Metal Church, you probably should be looking out for that one as well. No matter what copy you get, you're definitely going to like it. So, yeah, if you've heard it, you definitely post your comments below. I think my camera went out. It went out of focus for a bit. But also, this was even featured in Scott Waters and Trog's top 50 best albums of 1984. And yes, it's surprising that this album was released in 1984. So, with that, this is Heavy Thrasher saying I am out. And I'll see you later. Time to get to the next band. Not next band. Next album by Metal Church. See you on the other side.